I'm bored of it, actually. I'm bored of doing the thing that I'm really good at because I'm not being challenged and I don't feel like I'm growing anymore and I don't feel like I'm living up to my potential. And I would be a hypocrite if I were to keep doing this and not seek out other avenues where I can keep delivering more and better and developing myself. Hey, hey, welcome to the Bodies Built Better podcast. This episode is a little bit different than the usual episodes. Today, I'm going to be talking about my decision to move on from massage. For those who don't know, I've been a massage therapist and had my own business for almost 17 years now. And recently made the decision that it was time to move on. And it's been a very hard decision. And if I'm completely honest, it's been a decision that I feel like should have been made. I say should have, but I feel like I had made it maybe a few years earlier, but I didn't have the courage to move forward with it. So it was always this idea in the back of my mind. And so I finally have done it. Right now, as I talk to you, I'm in day one post career quitting, resigning, whatever you want to call it. But I wanted to talk to you about my decision in moving on from something that's been such a huge part of my life and people who've been a huge part of my life as well. I've been so lucky to create this beautiful, wonderful community of people who I get to help and witness and be inspired by and motivated by, because you're all awesome and doing incredible things. So I wanted to explain a little bit more about my decision. Um, so if you're a client, I guess this would make sense to you in the sense of this is I'm talking about this. If you're not a client, you've got no idea who I am, what I do. Stick around, because whilst I talk about my experience, this is also a lesson in change and fear and having the courage to choose yourself. Um, so yeah, stick around, and I'd love to hear from all of you if this resonates in any way, or if you're having a difficult time at the moment and you're feeling like maybe it's time to move on as well. So I'm going to go into what I recorded. It was probably late February this year, and I recorded it with my good friend Josh Smith, who has been along this journey with me. And if I'm honest, has probably been, a big influence in how I've gone about this as well. We sit down and he asked me the questions, why, what are you going to do, all of the rest. So um, have a listen to that. But then, as I was editing and hearing back over it, firstly, I hate hearing myself, and having to sit through that is really difficult for me. But I listen to it, and whilst I capture, the essence of why I chose to move on, I don't feel like I've explained everything. I don't know. I maybe it's just a Jackie thing where there's always something more to give. I never feel like it's quite enough. But if you stick around at the end of the episode, excuse me, I will talk a little bit more now that I have quit, now that it is done, now that it is day one of the next part of my chapter. because it's very real now. And when we did this recording, it was the end of Feb. I was still working. I hadn't told everyone at that stage. So I was telling people where I could during treatments. So not everyone knew. And it was really hard to sort of, I guess, express what I wanted to. It just didn't feel real at the time. So now that I'm in it, I think I can offer a little bit more, especially from the fear side, because I'm shitting it quite literally. I mean, it's a funny thing because it just depends on the day or the hour that you talk to me. I'm either really excited and looking forward to the opportunities that lie ahead, or I'm completely panicking and thinking I've done a mistake. It's, I need to turn back time and go back to it. But yeah, enjoy this little episode as Josh interviews me about my decision to quit massage, and stick around to the end as well as I give my current thoughts. So enjoy.
Thanks for having me back on the podcast.
You're welcome. It's lovely to have you back. You say back, but like we haven't left these chairs.
So if you're watching at home, it may look like the last couple episodes because same day.
Same day.
Just got told off for getting too excited because I had some chocolate. I'm still a child.
Husband is next door trying to work.
Adam, if you're listening, I apologize again. I'm sorry. Anyway, we'll get to the show. Welcome back to the Jackie Tan podcast, Bodies Built Better podcast, whatever you've decided
whatever
at this time. Last time we chatted, you talked about an evolution. And you talked about an evolution and name change potentially for the podcast, and an idea from yourself, what's happening, growth. What else is happening, Jackie?
Well, growth is a funny thing, Josh.
It is.
With growth, things change, purpose changes. And after 16 years, I think it's time to move on from massage. And I've always felt like I'm more than a massage therapist. And I feel like people only see me as a massage therapist. That's all I got.
So reading between the lines there.
Yeah.
Are you giving up massage?
I say yes, loosely.
Can you elaborate on that for me? And for everyone listening at home or in the car?
Yeah, there are other things in life that I feel I can offer more. And look, to be perfectly honest, like I'm sick of massaging. And it's not because of any other reason except the fact that I feel like I've gotten to a stage where I'm like, I'm really good at this. I'm so good at this. I've tried to get better at other modalities to bring into the business so that I can continue to bring the best of my skills, improve those skills, and obviously that passes on to clients and client outcomes and how they're feeling and whatnot. But at the end of the day, to be perfectly honest, clients don't want that other stuff. They want the massage, which is super fine. I mean, that's what I've been doing my whole career. But my mind and heart are not in massage as a sole offering, so to speak. Like I've always wanted to give more. And people don't want more. They just want the thing that I'm really, really good at. fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm bored of it, actually. I'm bored of doing the thing that I'm really good at because I'm not being challenged and I don't feel like I'm growing anymore and I don't feel like I'm living up to my potential. And I would be a hypocrite if I were to keep doing this and not seek out other avenues where I can keep delivering more and better and developing myself.
The last 15 seconds. That's the Jackie we want to hear from.
Like, fucking hell, it took a while to get there.
It's like just pouring water on the concrete, and I knew it's going to just slowly just erode it a little bit, let you do your thing, and we got there. Okay, we got there, right? We scratched it away. Go into that a little bit deeper. So by the time this is released, it's a thing. You've given it away. You've told people. Hopefully. Well, by the time you're like,
well, this is
don't do this forever. Like 84 years old, and we haven't released an episode, right?
I think I'm going to quit.
So the plan is, by the time this is released, when people are listening to it, you've done it.
Yeah.
You've done it, right?
Yeah.
So freely speak on why, like you're now planning to do it, but when they're listening, it's happened. Now go ham into why. That last little bit where you actually talk truthfully to yourself, what you believe, why you believe it, etc. Oh, amazing. Why?
Well, I mean, I've said why, haven't I?
Mm-hmm.
Really, it's the hypocrisy of being in a position where you preach potential and performance and growth and development, but I'm going to stay here in this comfortable little spot and do the thing that I've been doing for so long and actually not feel great about it anymore. And it's hard because my relationships with clients was really great, and I've had people who have been with me from the beginning who are awesome and who mean so much to me, and their support has been amazing, and I appreciate every single one of them. I'm so grateful for them because a lot have been through obviously the shit times as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so from that aspect, it's such a hard decision to make when you know in your heart that it's not the thing for you anymore. Yet you're still in it and you're still having conversations with clients or people. And they're like, that was amazing. Don't ever stop. Literally, that was yesterday. And
That's
I'm
hard.
Like, okay. Do I say something now? Do I allude to the fact that can't do this forever? And so still these things come up and it's really hard. And then I go, well, actually, like, things are never things aren't final. You don't go, that's it, I'm forever done with it. Because I know I'm really good at this. So even though it's something where I go, this is no longer the business. You can't book online anymore. Like, that's it.
Website closed.
It's closed.
Shut down.
But I don't think I'll stop doing this. And this is in my mind now.
Yes, of course.
I don't know like what's going to happen in future. Like, I'm open to flying all over the world and running seminars, like whatever the hell, right? Like, I'm open. So it may very well be that I can't massage. But I love the industry and I love the skills behind massage and what it can do for people, because I've always felt that massage has been underrated so much, and that we as therapists have never been given the respect that we deserve. And look, I get it, not all therapists are equal, but it depends on what you're wanting, right? Like, it's subjective. So but for me, it's always been, I want to help athletes. I've always
Mhm.
loved that aspect. I've always wanted performance, recovery. That's the juice for me. And so in that space for me, I've had a lot of experience, in high performance, like, elite teams. And, not all of it's been nice. And so I would love to be a part of helping the industry and therapists grow and get the respect that they deserve, because we deserve more. But that's, going away from the fact that I've actually given up massaging. But I'd love to be helping people understand how to be better as massage therapists. Because there's a lot of ways, and I've had massages and I've got high standards, man. Got high
Doesn't come
standards.
across at all. At all.
And it's
Yeah.
not that I've had bad massages. It's like there are gaps, and we just need to bridge those gaps. That's all. Because we could always be better. I could always be better. I know that. That's why I continue to seek out ways to make myself better. But coming back to what I'm quitting, I feel like I've reached that threshold where people are like, I just want you to massage. I just want you to give me this always. I'm happy here.
Mhm.
And I'm done with giving the same thing over and over. And I'm ready to give more, not just through massage. Wow, that just went like all over the place.
See what it is.
Shit.
It's interesting, digging into that, right? And where your thought process goes, because you can definitely
Goes all over the place,
all
as
over,
we just witnessed.
all over the shop, right? But it's interesting because you can actually pick up when you're actually talking with the truest conviction on what you're actually thinking. And then some other stuff comes, and then it goes again. That's why it goes all over the shop. But actually, if you clear away the cream, you can see the coffee. You know what I mean? So, it's super cool. I think it's super cool, and I would call it your Ronda Rousey moment, right? Do you know Ronda Rousey?
Oh, the name rings a bell.
She was a UFC fighter.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Now,
she tried to make a comeback and that.
Oh yeah, we're not talking about the comeback. We're not talking about the comeback.
But she was awesome.
We're going to talk about the Ronda Rousey moment. There's a lot of moments actually.
Okay.
We're not talking about the Holly Holm kick in the face. See you later. We're talking about Ronda Rousey, right? I'll clarify because it brings up a lot of imagery. The Ronda Rousey moment where she became so good at her sport, other opportunities started to present themselves to her, and she started being in movies. She started being in shows. She surpassed her sport.
I'm available for any movies out there.
Flying Around the World, she's already said that.
PG rated.
PG rated. Okay.
Or like, anyway.
If you saw that on video, it was different. It was different. Jackie's going to go into some training first before she does any movie appearances. But you basically it's a surpassing, exceeding the sport, right? And that's what she had done in that point. And you could name hundreds of people. The Rock, for example, right? He was a wrestler, and then he went from that, became so great, got into now he's highest paid movie star in the world, right? This kind of stuff where for me it's like you've exceeded the limits of what you can do in that space for that clientele base or that audience, and you're looking at doing things greater. And in order to do things greater, in order to get yourself out of the marina, you have to cut the anchor.
I love that analogy.
7 C's, boom, that's where you're going.
7 C's. Oh, brilliant. I had something in there.
Was that a silence? Just sit.
I'm so uncomfortable with silence.
I can tell.
So you said that. So if you didn't realize, you mentioned people were both restless, right? well,
one's a
UFC
fighter,
medal,
one's a
one's a fighter.
wrestler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right.
same sort of thing.
If you want me to change it, closer to home, one of my good friends, Jenna McCormick,
Yeah,
started soccer,
yeah.
then won 3 grand finals playing football. Right? Any cross code athlete, you do the most you can in that sport, and then guess what? It might be opportunities in other sports. That happens all the time. And yes, I used The Rock and Ronda Rousey because that's first came to my brain.
Yeah.
But you're exceeding that,
Yeah.
and you're surpassing what that is, and you're like discard gone, and you finally made the decision to cut the anchor, because now your self-worth, which we talked about, far surpasses where you're at and where you have been at. And okay, you mentioned income source was the first thing you mentioned. All right. I get the feeling it's a lot more than income source. It's a lot more than that. You can actually see, you've been in it for so long, you can see what needs to be done, and you will be able to go out and you cut out, I don't know, 20 hours of massage a week. You can now do 20 hours of seminars or podcasts or presentations or providing knowledge that can then, instead of helping one person, you can now help 20, 30, 1,000, whatever that audience is going to be. The audience only changes and only grows in line with your own mental growth. That's what it is.
That's super interesting that you've said that, and especially going back to self-worth, because I feel like I've known this for a while, but massage is all I know. And the scary part is going, well, then what? And I never knew what that was. And so I felt stuck. Forget where I was going with that. But that's what popped into my mind when you said that. And it's funny because you also said when you get so good at something, Ronda Rousey just be in movies now. Same with The Rock.
Yeah.
That's good. I think I'd like to be in a movie. It's funny because I've now had opportunities, or I've had an opportunity come up where I can teach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, for some reason, I don't know why, but I'm recognized as someone who can run a workshop and teach other massage therapists. And I don't know is that just timing? Is that a universal energy shift where I've gone, I want this, or I'm ready, I can do this, I believe I can, I'm meant for more. And so the universe goes, all right, then let's just brew something up. I mean, I know that's a bit woo-woo for some, but
go woo.
It's like to make a mental shift and be ready for something, and then for things to just fall into place is so, I mean, it just blows my mind sometimes. And then again, I thought I wanted this, or was ready for it like 3 years ago, or 3-4 time, ages ago, right?
I'm just living in a twilight zone now.
And I wanted, and it was something that I wanted, and it was part of my growth then. And then COVID happened. But it just so happened within that period, I let go of that. I was just like, there's too much. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what I'm doing. And I just let go of that. And then, things happen. You move to another state, and then you move back to that state. And I meet awesome people like yourself who have, you've played a big part in my growth as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. True. And the people I've met through you and the gym, Sarah, shout out, who've all contributed to my own growth and development and self-awareness and self-worth. And that shift has happened so quickly, I feel like. And so, what came first? Was it you guys and helping me make that shift, and that's what fell into place? Or Well, I don't know what the other thing was, but
Internal.
yeah, like what? Yeah, how do these things happen? But anyway, back to not massaging anymore. That's where I'm at.
I will apologize to all of your former massage clients then for my role in you leaving. I think on that though, it's my idea is this an environmental thing, but it can only be you only like if you've got a little thing inside of you and then you're in the right environment, then you flourish. Right.
Oh, that's good.
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And when you surround yourself, they say, obviously around 5 people, you become like them, blah, 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 right? I think it's environmental. And if you've got a little, oh, I'm not comfortable here or some shit, and then you get challenged on it, and then you actually feel safe to explore it in that environment, you will grow. Harry ain't going to grow if you put him in like high metal environment.
Yeah,
You know what I
he's doing
mean?
all right.
He's
Look,
doing all
I'm not
right.
gonna lie. I'm a serial plant killer.
Don't tell Harry that. Tell him, give him positive words.
I
You are a
know.
survivor, Harry. You are thriving. Okay. But that's my thoughts, is the environment, and you had a thing 3 years ago. You had an idea 3 years ago, but you let it go.
Yeah.
Now the environment shift, the environment change, potentially. The entire world landscape changed with COVID, right? So that's a big thing. But then all these things come into play. Like I met Sarah 15 years ago, right? And we were very different people then, and like the growth and the change that occurs, like in a healthy environment, everything flourishes, and then everything dies, and everything flourishes again. In a healthy environment, in a unhealthy environment, not everything flourishes. Some things are at the expense of others rather than with others. It's not a synergistic cycle. And so I tend to think it's an environmental thing. It's super lovely to hear you say about the change that have occurred. For me, it's like the seed was there. The seed was there. And seeing different opportunities or visibility on, oh, actually, here's a possibility, something that fits in with what I'm doing, in a different sort of sphere that allows me to then explore what I'm doing and take a little step away from the sphere I'm in to go towards the sphere I want to go into, and that's super cool. What came to my head when you were talking about that was like a baby going from like prone to like crawling to standing to right walking and moving. If you put a baby in this room now, right, it's only going to like flop about for a bit until it can turn itself over. Change has to occur from within, right? Rolls over. All of a sudden now it can like move around and explore the room, see different shit. The environment's still the same, right? Then it starts getting a bit stronger, starts to test itself and challenge itself. Then it starts to pull itself up a bit. Change occurs again, So within the right environments, these things start to become visible to us as we start to shift ourselves. If baby crawls over and that falls over, it's not going to go there again. It's going to go somewhere else. It doesn't cause it pain. And that's the analogy that came to me when you were talking about that, is that we're all just babies trying to fluff our way through life. The environments themselves just become more visible to us. The possibilities become more visible to us as we grow, change, and adapt into things, and we become part of that.
Yeah.
That's what came to me.
And to add on to your analogy,
yes, compound analogy.
We can only grow as much as the environment.
100%.
So once we are that toddler is up walking about, like the challenges then are no longer challenges, and the only way to get bigger, better, stronger, more agile is to remove yourself from that environment.
Open the door somewhere new.
Exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. Not for the analogy compound, for the lifestyle change.
I thought the analogy compound.
Oh, it was fucking fantastic. Once again, another great chat. I better get out of here.
Okay, so as I hear that, it's such a weird thing to hear yourself talk about yourself. Not very good at it. If I had the choice, I'd probably not release it. But this is not for me. It's for you. And I really felt the need to explain my position. And firstly, I just want to say how much of how much of this entire experience has helped me grow as a person. And, without all of my clients, I wouldn't be the person I am today, because I truly feel like I've learned something from each and every one of you, whether it's learned, something about myself, something about life, something about, perspective, um, training. There's so many reasons that I've been able to learn and grow and improve as a person, because I think we can always improve. I think, it's the point of this podcast. It's the point of, why I do what I do. It's about experiencing our ultimate potential and showing up as our best selves and as ourselves, as our truest self. And so you've all really helped me do that. And of course, that journey continues for me, as it always will. But one thing that I don't mention, I guess, is the actual fear around quitting. But not only the fear, it's almost like this, gosh, I disappointment, um, hurt, or sadness. The one thing that really kind of gets me down when I allow myself to think about it is the fact that I never really, this is how I feel, but I never really achieved everything that I wanted to achieve in massage. And I think, well, I'm so good at what I do. And, that's taken me a lot to say, by the way. I don't say that easily. Um, and I know that's common for a lot of women, or a lot of people in general, that, this tall poppy syndrome, we don't really, I was going to say toot our own horn, but it's not even that. It's just believing that we actually are really great at what we do, because that's just fact. Um, so it still feels a bit icky to say, but um, I'm trying to own it, because I've spent a lot of hours training and getting better and trying to improve. And so um, I'm going to own that, just as you should if you're in the same position. So back to what I was saying, I am sad in the sense that, I'm so good at what I do, and the fact that I was never able to reach that end goal where everything worked, the services we were offering were all very popular, and, making the money that I desired to make, and, it all worked out, but it never got there. And it kind of breaks my heart, because I feel like we could have. I feel like yeah, it's a weird one. But I guess the scary part is, if I couldn't quite reach that with how good I am in this profession, how will I in anything else? And that really plays on my mind. And I know that's a mindset thing. You can change that. You can, yeah. And I know you'll also go, well, what did you achieve? It's actually quite a lot. And yeah, yeah, it was. And I'm really proud of it. And I have so much um, knowledge to offer because of everything that I experienced. But I just wonder why sometimes it didn't quite get there. And yeah, it makes me sad and scared. And that's real. Um, and I guess the other thing I think is important to mention is, I think this has been said throughout the conversation with Josh, but how did you make this decision, and why, and the how really, it's come from within. And I know we can get really disconnected with ourselves sometimes and listen to our head over our heart. And I've pretty much done that my entire career. It's always been about what's happening in the head and what I should be doing for everyone else and not so much myself. And so when I come back to the how I've made this decision, because it's such a huge decision, it comes down to the fact that I am finally listening to how I feel. And to be honest, how I'm feeling is I'm tired and exhausted and ready to move on. I'm just ready. I was ready a little while ago, but I'm ready. And I think if you're ready to move on, I think deep down we kind of know that we're ready, but it's a scary notion to think about. It's a scary thing to communicate with others, with family, with friends, because there's always the why, and then what are you going to do? And that's that's a tough question. What are you going to do? It's like I haven't figured that out. I don't know. I know I'm going to do something. I just don't know what that is yet, and I don't know whether I'll enjoy it. But the point is, I want to have that opportunity to do it and figure that out. And that sounds potentially a bit unusual to some because I know there's a lot of people out there who need that stability and security. And I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm in a very privileged position to be able to do what I'm doing. But don't for a second think that I'm gonna just be resting here in the background and you know having fun talking with people on the podcast, which I will be doing, no doubt. But I'm, as you would know if you know me, I'm very driven and I do have goals and I do thrive on achieving those goals. So um, I, this probably is not making sense. It's probably a little bit all over the place, but I guess it's just my thoughts on, day one of post massage business career ending. I think that really all sums it up. I've got big goals. I'm more than a massage therapist. I want to be giving more. I want to be offering and teaching and inspiring you to do exactly what it is that you love. And that doesn't have to make you money. I think we get confused sometimes, or, it's the thing that we're passionate about must be our career. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be, but as long as you're doing it, as long as it's a part of your life, it's really important. Sometimes we use our career as the gateway to be doing the thing that we love. And I think that's really admirable and really important as well. So if you're able to do something that you love because of the work that you're doing, excellent, perfect. Um, and on the flip side, if you're leaving everything behind so that you can pursue a passion, then good on you. Kudos. I think it's really important that we also take those chances and take a risk on ourselves because we are worth it. And if it all screws up, then we just go back to what we can do, what we do know, or not even that. We just pivot. Like, what's the next step? I mean, COVID was a really good example of that. Of you know, we weren't able to do the thing that we loved, and so we had to think of new ways, which is how the podcast was born. And I think that's the point. Like, we don't have to know where you're going. We don't have to have everything figured out. When we're put in the deep end, like that whole sink or swim, but you don't know where you're swimming. Just swim, just get there, get wherever. If it's no good, go in a different direction. No good, change your direction. Like it's we're so lucky in the world that we live in today that we've got so many opportunities out there. If we've got the courage to just to get a bit uncomfortable and live a little differently, maybe that means really cutting back on, your spending, or downgrading, downsizing, whatever it is. Like, if you need to do that because you're chasing something that's bigger than you, that feels right, that is a passion, then why not? So with that said, I hope that makes sense and I didn't go off on too many tangents. I tend to do that. I just want to say, after all of this, thanks for coming along on this journey with me. It really means a lot. I am truly grateful for every single one of you. You've all taught me a lot, and I truly hope that you can continue to be the awesome people that you are, because you're all awesome and you all have incredible greatness inside of you, and I've seen it. I hope that you believe it when I say that, and thank you.